Hello and welcome to the new video. We got some battles sent to us here with the Shadow Chandelure in the Open Master League, and I'm kinda curious on how this is going to go. I haven't taken a look at the battles yet, so let's start right into it. We're going to have also Zygarde here on this team, which is not fully XL, and I don't think that the Groudon is fully XL either, or am I mistaken? I thought that this Pokemon would get a little bit higher in terms of the CP that it could have, so not too sure. Yeah, definitely. Like, it's not fully XL there either, but I think the Chandelure at least is fully XL. So let's take a look at the battles. We're going to have here the Crunch coming through already. The battles are in German as well, which is going to be crazy nice for me because, yeah, I'm German. So, like, for me, sometimes I can mess up the moves with that. But let's take a look at those battles here. We're going to see the Fire Punch coming through against the Lugia. Already pretty bad matchup for you, but you already cannot try to do what you want to do anyway for the Chandelure. What you kind of want to do is you can try to chip down the opponent's Pokemon, which is really important for it because then you can maybe farm them down later on. And so here we will see that the opponent goes for a charge move. Let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be just the Sky Attack there, which is going to be okay for you. You can still go for the Fire Punch with your Groudon, getting some decent damage onto them. And now it depends if Chandelure can actually sweep a game. Let's see, we want to see the Zygarde coming back in. The opponent is forced to go for a charge move. It is going to be the, actually the Arrow Blast. And so it's down to the Shadow variant of the Chandelure here. We will see a free fast move coming in, which is going to be great for you because this should knock out the opponent's Lugia as well and leaves you with nearly 100 energy. In comes the Dialga. You can go for another charge move. You might be able to get a shield here from the opponent as well. Exactly. You can still try to go for another one afterwards, and you see already how much damage the Incinerate is doing. Let's see. The opponent is going to let this move go through, and it's going to be the X control in the back, and you can just go for the full farm down, and the first battle came down to the full farm down with the Chandelure. Good game there. Second battle starts pretty well for you because Giratina is not going to appreciate the Zygarde too much here. Zygarde with really bad IVs as well, so kinda crazy that you still build this Pokemon. Definitely crazy grinding those roots. I am not in the mood for roots, to be fair. Like, I'm still at like 10 or something for the Zygarde cells. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this feature, but I'm a big fan of the Chandelure against the Xerneas because Xerneas only has moves that are going to be resisted here. Blue Blast still kinda does not look resisted, but it is resisted. So yeah, this is still going to do a ton of damage. We see the Incinerate is still chunking away though, and you can still get to another charge move. Maybe the opponent tries to use another shield here as well. Let's see. They do not, and so you can get a shield and switch advantage as the opponent, weirdly enough, goes for another charge move here. Dragon Claw is going to get the knockout, but you can realign your Zygarde, and with this you can still just go for another Dragon Tail here against the opponent, maybe farm them all the way down. And if you can get some debuffs onto the opponent's Dialga, this would be great, but you don't even need it because now you have a Groudon. While it's not fully XL, you can still just go for the charge move here with the Precious Blades, and this is going to knock them out if they let this move go through, but you would also outspeed them for the next time the opponent lets this move go through, and so this game is over. You can just go for another charge move afterwards, even a Fire Punch. This game is pretty much over at this point, as you're gonna see the Dragon Claw coming through, doing little damage. You're just gonna go for the Fire Punch. It's just going to allow you to get the shield, get some damage. Doesn't really matter what the opponent is gonna do. You're still going to have your Zygarde in the back. You're still going to have a shield, and this might be already enough to knock them out. Let's see. I don't think it actually is. Never mind, it is actually already enough, and we can move on to the next game. Next opponent, we're going to have a Kyogre in the lead. This is kind of where you definitely want to face this Pokemon, but it's still actually not the greatest matchup. Again, Zygarde is not fully XL yet, and it's still all neutral. The opponent swaps into the Xerneas, again going to face up against the Chandelure, which is going to be great for you. But also, you actually get a free fast move in here, which is really important for you, as this is going to allow you to definitely get to another one pretty easily now. We can see another charge move coming through here. I hope that the opponent would use a shield here. This would be great for you, but they don't, so maybe it would have been better for you actually to go for an extra fast move first, because now you don't get to another charge move with your Chandelure. But it is what it is. Kyogre is coming back in. You're forced to use a shield here. Like, you cannot have the Kyogre against your Groudon. They actually go for the Blizzard, which I feel like is kind of an overkill here, as the opponent has the Togekiss in the back. Kyogre double Fairy is something that I also have in my top team video for the Master League. Definitely a solid lineup. As you can see here, Togekiss is gonna go to town, going to do a ton of damage against your Groudon. Fire Punch coming through here. We will see that you can go for another Fire Punch afterwards, which is going to definitely allow you to get another shield, but it's still not going to be a great matchup for you. You're kind of forced to... Oh, you're actually going to go for no shield. I feel like this is a little bit of a misplay. You're just going to forfeit. I think you still had a chance actually, but I'm not too sure here. We can move on to the next battle. Let's see what they're going to encounter now. Next battle starting, we're going to see the Zygarde against the Mewtwo in the lead. You're at least going to have access to your Crunch, which is going to be super effective, so that's going to be a great one for you. Let's see what the opponent is going to do. Maybe they're running Ice Beam. There are some Mewtwo that are running Ice Beam, but they decide to go for the Shadow Ball, which is not the play there. If you have Side Strike and Shadow Ball, go for the Side Strike here. Shadow Ball is not doing more damage than a Side Strike would do. And so the opponent swaps out into their Dialga. I don't think this is even a best buddy Dialga, which is also a little bit silly, but you can just go for another charge move. This is gonna get the knockout if they let this move go through. They decided not to do this, and I think because you're not fully XL on your Groudon, this might actually be a very difficult matchup for you, because the Dialga might be able to farm you down now instead of you getting 2-3 Pressure Sprites. I'm not too sure about it, but let's find out here actually, because the opponent tries to go for exactly this play. You're going to let this move go through anyway, but yeah, I think the opponent would have been able to actually farm you down now. There is where definitely the extra levels would come in clutch for you. You're gonna go into your Chandelure, and you should be able to outspeed the opponent if they didn't overfarm, but they did overfarm, so you force his shield, go for another fast move, farm them down, and let's see what they're gonna go into afterwards, as he can go for the full farm down against the Dialga. In comes a Melmetal. This is amazing. It's exactly what you want to face, as you're gonna be able to hit the Flame Charge. You're forced to go for another one immediately, and now it's just the Mewtwo in the back, and you could do a ton of damage now with your fast move already. Let's take a look at this. Oh, you swap out. That's kind of sad. I would have liked to see the Incinerate land, and I think it would have not been an issue, and I think it would have been actually the better play to go for as well. It doesn't really matter, because I can go for a Crunch. So yeah, as you're gonna see here, this is going to be a knockout, and we can move on into the next battle as long as this is gonna go through. Moving on now, let's find out. We're gonna see here the Dragonite in the lead, which is going to be a very neutral matchup. It is definitely something where you have to stay in, because your backline is going to be weak against it. But yeah, as you're gonna see here, the opponent is gonna go ahead and go for a charge move. Dragon Claw is coming through, and we will see that the Crunch is hopefully getting the debuff. This would be amazing for you, because you kind of need to get some damage onto them as well. You're gonna get the debuff, which is great for you, because you see now the Dragon Tail actually would be enough to farm them down, but I would just let this move go through, get the extra energy with either of the Pokemon actually would be fine, but I feel like that the Chandelure is of course the star of the show. Let's see what they have in the back. This might be a double steel backline. Let's take a look at this. It's going to be a Dialga swapping in, and you should go more steady for the Shadow Ball instead, which would do more damage than the Flame Charge here. So you're going to see the Flame Charge actually getting shielded, so it's totally okay for you. You can still go into Groudon, and the Pressure's Blade is going to get the knockout for sure. It just depends on what they're going to actually run in the back here. Let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be the Landorus Therian form with most likely the new move Sandsteel Storm. Let's see how this is going to go as well. We will see here that the Fire Punch is coming through, and with this we're going to also get a ton of damage onto the opponent. It's not going to be enough to knock them out after another one either, even if they're going to get the debuff here. Like maybe they can even survive 2 of your charge moves, but let's see what you're going to do here. We will see another move coming through. Are you just trying to bank on your Chandelure is my question. We're going to see the Chandelure swapping in, and you have to use a shield here now most likely in order to try to get the knockout, but it's going to be very, very difficult, as you can still reach another charge move. This might help you, because this should put the opponent into Fire Punch range. So let's see if this is going to work out for you. They can farm you down. Can you still reach the Fire Punch in time? It's going to be so close, and you cannot. Literally all dependent on the level that you were. Like if the opponent didn't, like if you had basically the full level Groudon, you would have been able to win this game, but you don't, and so that's going to be a little bit of a tough one. The opponent here has a full level Groudon, and yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a trickier matchup for you, because you don't really have anything to swap in other than your own one. But because you stayed in with the Dragon Tier, the cool thing here actually is that you're going to be able to now one-shot the opponent most likely, what the opponent should not be able to do with you, and you're gonna go for the bait. This is risky, and the opponent is going to no-shield this. Yeah, I would have not went for this either, but you're gonna try to go for another bait because you think that you can farm them down afterwards. Might actually work out for you, but let's see here. Yeah, exactly, you can still survive one move from the opponent, but they don't need to shield here. I don't think they're gonna shield, but they actually do shield for whatever reason. But you can still reach another Fire Punch, and you might be able to farm them down with the Skeledirge afterwards. Not Skeledirge. That's what I mean basically with the names going to completely confuse me as well, because it's called Scalabra in German while Chandelure in English, and of course Scalabra and Skeledirge are really, really close to each other, and so I'm getting confused about this again. And this is always when I have like German gameplay for me, because yeah, like for me this is always very tricky to kind of commentate here. Great play by going for one extra, because you would have lost the CMP. It's kind of clear that the opponent goes straight for the Side Strike, and you can go for, I think you had to go for, okay, maybe this is gonna work out as well. I would have went most likely for the Flame Charge, but let's see. Yeah, I think you had to go for that. Flame Charge, double Flame Charge might have been the play for you to go there, but let's see. You can... Oh, you cannot survive. It was so close, and the opponent can still go for another charge move. So, again, I think double Flame Charge might have been the trick there. I don't know if it would have knocked out the Mewtwo, but I kind of think it would have. So, let's move on to the next opponent. We're going to have a Dialga in the lead. This is not going to be ideal for you, and you want to swap out immediately into the Groudon, which, like, this team itself, like, on how you play it as well, doesn't really make too much sense, I have to say. Yeah, like, it is just very weak against certain types as well, but I guess it's going to be tricky to build a team around, like, Chandelure anyway. Maybe something like Chandelure on the back and, like, Say-Stop of the... Giratina would have been great, but of course, like, if you don't even have the Groudon fully built up yet, I doubt that you're going to have a lot of Pokemon built for the Master League, so still really appreciate that you sent in the battles here. But let's move on to the next battle here, to this battle, of course, with the Landorus against you. You're gonna be able to still go into your Zygarde, allowing you to easily take those moves. Like, it basically does no damage. Like, Zygarde is like stronger Blissey or whatever for the Master League. It's just so absurd how much bulk this Pokemon has. In the main series games, basically between the 50% form and the complete form, you just double the HP stat, which is just so mad. Like, it is literally so broken. We're gonna see the Earthquake coming through, which is a little bit risky. Let's see if the opponent's gonna fall for it. They actually going to let this move go through, and it did like no damage, but we're gonna see actually the Excadrill coming in, and you can go for one shield and farm them all the way down, allowing you to go for 2 flame charges against the opponent's Dialga, which is going to be really good for you, because this is going to allow you to get the first shield and most likely the second shield, while also doing a lot of damage with the fast moves in between. So you're gonna reach another one here. The opponent might try to go for the full farmland against you. Let's see if this is going to work out for them, because your damage is just adding up. But sadly, they can go for the full farmland. But I think you can farm them down with the Dragon Tail now, and you can. Good game there. Moving on now, we will see the next opponent swooping in here. Mikey times 69, what a name there as well. We're going to have the Ho-Oh against us in the lead here. That's going to be a little bit of a trickier lead. Let's see what we can do here. We can go for the crunch, and you went straight for it, which I don't really agree with. This is going to be a little bit annoying for you, because you get just a free fast move in for the opponent. Like, if you go for one extra fast move, like what is supposed to happen, I think this would have been the better play to go for. Rather go for 6 fast moves here in the lead, as they're gonna swap out into the Veltal, which is a little bit of a trickier matchup. I guess your play is to just try to weaken them and now go into your Chandelure, which I guess is a play that could work out, but you're forced to use 2 shields now. But I guess you could just use 2 shields and just go for the full farmland, which I would most likely try to do now. The defense drop definitely comes in clutch here, but let's see. Yeah, you're gonna go for the full farmland, which is definitely the play to go. You're still at half health, and you're still going to be in a tough spot, but let's see what's coming in next. It's going to be the Ho-Oh, and so you can go for the Shadow Ball, which would most likely knock them out here, but the opponent decides to use a shield again. I feel like double Flame Charge would have been the play to go. I think you would CMP as well against the opponent, but now you kind of want to swap out fairly fast, I would imagine. But okay, the opponent has their Xerneas in the back, and I feel like this is going to be a loss here, sadly, because the opponent still has their Ho-Oh in the back. They still have a shield advantage, and they're still going to two-shot you basically here. Your only play is to go for the bait for sure. Like, I do agree with this play. This is basically the only way of still coming back, and you're actually still going to get the charge move off here, but because you're also not fully XL on the Groudon, this is not going to get the knockout, and it barely misses out on it. But you still maybe have a chance still, because you should be able to farm him down now with your own elite here of the Zygarde. I think Dragon Tail might be enough here. Let's take a look at this. It is not enough, and they can still reach most likely close combat at this point. Let's see. It is actually the Moonblast still, and so you're going to lose this game. Next game coming up, we're going to have the Dialga in the lead, which is going to be again a little bit of an awkward one. I guess you're going to swap back into your Groudon, which I guess is okay for this kind of scenario, but the opponent has their Ho-Oh in the back. Here it is also better to go for the Precious Blade over the Fire Punch. Both are single resisted basically, and Precious Blade is just the better move to go for, because it just does way more damage. But the opponent is really in a driver's seat here, as the Precious Blade is going to get a ton of damage onto the opponent, but they can just go for the Sacred Fire. They're at 100 energy, now they are at, what is it, I think 35 energy at this point, but it's going to be kind of an awkward position, because they can just go for the Brave Bird here or the Sacred Fire. I would go for the Brave Bird most likely if I was the Ho-Oh. They actually go for the Sacred Fire and get the attack drop. That's kind of unfortunate. And you're going to go for the full farm now, because you guess you kind of need it for the Dialga. You should use a shield here, exactly. It's going to be not the Brave Bird again. They bait you again for whatever reason, and you're going to go straight for the Earthquake. I would imagine that the opponent uses a shield now. Let's see what they're going to do. They decide to go for the shield. You're forced to try to stay in here and go for another Earthquake. You have to let this move go through as well. Exactly, as the Iron Hand is still something that you can survive, but let's see, you can still go for the Earthquake. This is the only play, so I definitely agree with the place that you did here, as you can go into your Chandelure. It's going to be a close one, because you can actually still knock them out here. They're going to outspeed you, but if the opponent has something in the back that dies to like one charge move here, this would be great. It's going to be the Landorus. I think maybe if you went for the Shadow Ball, it would have been actually enough to nearly put them into knockout range. I'm not too sure. You actually can win CMP here, which is kind of fine. But yeah, if you went for the Shadow Ball, I think you would have been really good in this spot here. But I don't think you would have won anyway. So yeah, it is what it is. Last battle was sadly lost here. But hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like. And also, thanks for sending in those battles. If you want to send in some battles, link is always in the description. So see you then. Bye-bye.